Hi, and welcome to the first program of Tea with Titty T. I'm Titty T. In these podcasts, we are talking all things relationships. My guest today is Nelao Nengola. She's an international self-love and lifestyle coach. She works with people to heal their relationships and helps them find the love that they truly desire. She's also very committed to helping women live their best lives in their healthiest, most confident bodies. She's a self-love coach, online mentor, and an educator and content creator. She has been featured in news publications across the world, including the US and the UK. Hi, Nelao, and welcome to Tea with Titty T.
Hi, Titty T. Thanks for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you. Let's sip some tea. Ooh, nice. Well, first of all, I just want to say that you look absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, man, I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to talk about some really
very important stuff. Yeah. Let's get straight into it. What is a self-love coach? What does a self-love coach do?
In short, I help people heal their relationships with themselves. A lot of the times when people want things, especially when we're talking about relationships, they tend to look very outwardly. So they're looking for someone. But what a lot of people don't know is what you're going to find and what you're going to attract, what you're going to go for is a huge reflection of your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, I truly and absolutely agree with that. Do lots of people access your services to help solve their love issues?
Now, yes. So I didn't always start as a self-love coach. I started as a fitness coach. And what happened was I got a lot of women coming to me who wanted to change their bodies so that they would attract a partner, right? Which is, totally normal. I understand.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, we did the fitness work, but they still struggled with the external attracting relationship side of things. And so I had to redo my entire program, redo my entire curriculum to actually help them get what they want. So yes, we do the body fitness stuff, but we start with the core of, okay, if you want this, we first need to start with the internal value of yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. Yeah. Have you noticed an increase in people coming to you about love and specifically bedroom advice?
Yes. Yeah. I think relationship, love, dating, culturally is just something we don't tend to publicly talk about. But just because we don't talk about something doesn't mean that, these are not things people want information
Exactly,
for.
yeah.
And so I get a lot of private DMs, even though I may post something and the comments may not be full.
Yeah.
My DMs.
It's lit in the DMs.
Get very full with questions.
Okay, cool. Is it mostly women come to you, or do men also come to you for your services?
It's mostly women because I advertise to women. But I do get some guys that are like, okay, so do you only work with women?
Yeah.
What if I need? And I totally get it. The guys also need the support.
Yeah, and advice.
So maybe later on in time when I have more capacity, I will help the guys, but right now I'm really passionate about working with women. I'm a woman.
Yeah, of course, girl. I get you. Is there a difference between the questions that you get from women versus men? Are there any differences?
Differences. I think what I'm finding with my audience is that they're a lot more aware that the work needs to happen within them. I think with men, they're not really aware of where the work needs to happen.
Girl, you're speaking. Continue.
Yeah. So I think that tends to be the difference with men and women. But surprisingly, which I think a lot of women would be surprised to hear, is that guys actually do want to be intimate. They really do want to meet someone. They really do want all the love, intimacy, connection stuff. I think guys just don't know how to verbalize.
Yeah, that's very true. We've been saying that it's more difficult for men to verbalize, like you say, their emotions and how they feel. What are the main issues that women come to you with when they come to you for questions? What are the main questions that they ask?
The main ones, I don't know where to find men. I don't know where do I meet a guy. I know what kind of guy I want, but do these kind of guys even exist?
Yeah.
Are they on another planet?
Because those are the same questions I ask myself.
Yeah. So I think it's mainly that.
So why do you think is the answer to most of those questions. When a woman comes to you and says, listen, what's wrong with me? Why can't I find a man? Like, what am I doing wrong? How do you remedy that?
There are two things. So obviously, as a self-love coach, I start with your internal working. So I get that you say you know what you want, but a lot of women aren't actually aware of what the message they put out there of what they're attracting. So let's first align that. The where do you find men? I think that's the easy part. I know that people think like,
how is that easy? How is that easy? Where? Okay, please tell us the answer to that easy question. Where?
Okay. The first thing I'll say before I say where is a lot of women, you need to open up your dating options. And I think especially in Namibia, I find that the dating pool, everyone's kind of trying to date the same kind of people. I mean, we can't all date the same kind of 5 guys, you know? So you have to open up your dating options, especially, you know, the older we get, we really want to settle down. So before I even say where, first open up your options.
And be open to different. Be
open. Because if I say, so a lot of people will think, okay, maybe you have to go to the club or you have to go. Really good, high quality, valuable men are everywhere. They're just not where everyone is going. So you need to go to some other places. Go to the library. Go to.
Do you think you can find a decent guy in a library?
I think so. I think so. If what you want and what your the energy you are exuding is in alignment, it is actually quite easy to find a good man.
I actually had a friend once tell me that it's the energy that I'm giving out that's attracting all of these wrong men. Is that really a thing? Is energies and you know, your mindset a factor when choosing or trying to find a decent guy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's a whole world of things we're not aware of that we're communicating all the time. So like you said, with the energies. Energies, body language, even the words you say, the way you carry yourself. So a really good example is like, right now we have this whole like soft life. I want to be taken care of, right? More than half the women who say I want to be taken care of actually cannot stand being taken care of.
I can attest to that.
Right? So if the message you're giving off is, I can take care of myself. I don't need a man. I'm sorry, ladies. This whole like, men are trash, independent women thing. Please don't take that out of context. 2 things can be true at the same time. But if that's the message you're exuding in your dating life, you're gonna attract either a man who needs to be taken care of,
girl,
because you want to take care of everything and everyone. So it is important that you are aware of what the message you're giving out. So the energy, if your energy doesn't align with what you're wanting, you're not going to get it.
Preach, girl, preach. Is it mainly relationship issues or sexual issues that you deal with when women come to talk to you or to come ask for advice? There's a sexual component, but not in the way that if I say sexual component, you think like the image that comes to your mind. A lot of women want to free themselves. I think, especially culturally, it's very taboo to talk about sex, especially as women. But I find that women are craving to express themselves in that way. Like, we're women, we're sensual, we're sexual. That needs to be okay. And I think women are really ready to express that side of themselves. So we do talk about like sexual liberation. It's a very important part of life. Very important conversation as well. You know, when it comes to relationships, Nelao, and sex, you know, we all know that all the important factors in a relationship has to be trust, and, you know, mutual respect and things like that, you know, love. But how important is the sex and the intimacy in a relationship?
It's really, really important. I think it's a natural craving. I think even with love, if you're in love with someone, you're naturally going to be physically attracted to them. you should naturally want to connect to them in an intimate way. And intimacy doesn't always have to equal sex, but sex is an amazing part of intimacy.
It is, yeah.
So it is important to be, in alignment with the expression of yourself in all the ways that you are able to do that as a woman, as a human. It's important.
So Nelao, do you think that women are sexually happy?
I think there are a lot of women who are not sexually happy. And I think there are a lot of reasons why. Yeah. So the one is, talking about sex and enjoying sex is, it's a very taboo subject culturally. So there's that component. Women also, we tend to have these categories of if a woman enjoys sex, then we put labels on her as as a negative thing. And so think of all these women all these married women who don't get to express and feel any sexual satisfaction in their marriages, in their relationships. Again, two ways, because one, if you do, then you're seen to be as that type of woman. And then also I think the other component is culturally, again, we haven't allowed women to express, again, all their desires, all the sexual things that they desire. So another layer to that is, so with women, it'll be or in marriages, you'll have men who will have a side chick or something like that, where it's okay society-wise for the side chick to love sex and do all these crazy things in the bedroom, right? But we cannot combine a wife and being sexually adventurous and want to explore these things, but she's a woman, she does. So I think for that reason, there are a lot of women who are not satisfied because they don't get to explore or express that side of things.
I think it boils down again to communication and talking about these things. But again, like you said, women get labeled if they want to do crazy things in the bedroom. Yeah. So how important is then communication, especially in a relationship, to avoid there being side chicks in the relationship? Because I feel like if you're not going to tell your partner what you like and what you don't like in the bedroom, and this goes both ways, the men and the women, then how do you expect to build that exciting, experimental? Because again, the intimacy with the sex is important in the relationship, and you need to talk about those type of things in the relationship as well. I wanted to ask about being single. Girl, what am I doing wrong? You need to tell me. You need to tell me. Because, I've been single for a while, and people always ask me that question. Treza, you're a beautiful woman. You look like you have your life together, which I don't really. I'm still trying to get my life together. But they always ask the question, what's wrong with you? And then I ask myself, what's wrong with me? But nothing is, in fact, wrong with me. Why do you think people assume that?
Again, all the assumptions in dating, but even before the external, you're asking why am I still single? I'm this beautiful woman. I have my career. You have it going on. That's what I'm saying. I would first begin to look at what is it that you actually want, because what I find with a lot of women who got it going on, who struggle in dating, is because one, either you're not actually really clear on what you want, or what you actually want is not in alignment with what you believe you can have, you can find. Again, with the energies and the beliefs, well, if your belief is there aren't any good men out there, you're going to have a really hard time finding any good men because you just believe that. Yeah. I think it starts with knowing for you first what you want, and then putting yourself in spaces that can allow for that to happen. There's, again, nothing wrong with you. It could just be you're fishing in the wrong pool. And also sending out the wrong energies.
Exactly. Nelao, so you've been abroad. You've traveled. I want to know, is there a difference? Because I've been of the idea that my man, is not in this country, right? He's not here. He's maybe somewhere else. Is there a difference? Am I being naive in thinking that men from here are different from men out there?
That's a really good question. Because I would say yes and no. Of course, men are different because we are a product of the societies and cultures that raise us. And I used to kind of think that as well. But two things. So one, your belief that maybe your man is in another country, that's a limiting belief because it doesn't need to be true.
Yeah.
But also, again, with thinking, okay, are men from other countries like better?
More romantic, more...
Yeah. That could be a result of like culture. So definitely there are those cultural differences.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you cannot find the man that you desire here, because just like I've been abroad, there are people here who've been abroad, or people who are from a different country or a different place. So what matters is actually learning how to vet men, how to qualify men, how to actually identify, okay, this is a high quality, high value man, regardless of where in the world he is, because they are everywhere in the world.
And I think it also just boils down to self-love, knowing yourself and what you want. That's, I think, the first step before. And I think that's something I've only started doing now, and starting to understand now. Do you think dating apps help with that in terms of, because I personally, I watch the Tinder Swindler, and I'm not trying to say that dating apps are bad. All I'm saying is that I preferred to date the old-fashioned way, to meet someone the old-fashioned way. But do you think that dating apps nowadays is a great way to meet somebody?
So I've tried the dating apps. Now at this point in my life, I highly recommend like in-person dating. It's not to say dating apps can't work. I just find that it's so easy to hide a lot of things in dating apps that it's just important. Like being in front of a person, you get to see, okay, what are their mannerisms? What is the vibe that they give you? When they say things, what is their facial expression? So I'm a big fan of in-person dating.
Yeah, I agree.
But I get the dating apps, it could introduce you to, people in different places. But yeah, it can help, but only, I feel like, to a certain extent. I'm a big fan of just in-person dating and breaking the limiting belief that your man couldn't be around the corner. He could be.
It's true. I mean, my man could be in Ochivadongo or somewhere. You never know. What about speed dating? Do you think that's something that can also really, allow women to potentially meet their significant others?
It could work. It could work. If you know how to qualify for what you actually want. So again, being clear on what you want and know kind of how to find it. It can absolutely work. Speed dating, I've done a speed dating thing. I feel like it's more for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I didn't meet my man at the speed dating. But definitely it's important to put yourself in situations where you are around different types of men, different types of people. Because that's also another thing. Women want to meet a man, they want to date, but like won't even get in front of a man.
Yeah, no, it's true. And also just this fantasy of the perfect guy, because we all want a Prince Charming, someone to sweep you off your feet and just to usher you off into the world and stuff like that. And it's really, I think it's unrealistic because no one is perfect at the end of the day. And so finding that perfect guy is something I think I need to also get out of my head, because he doesn't exist. No one is perfect.
I will counter that.
Oh.
I will counter that. Of course, no perfect person exists, but I think you can find a man who has a lot of the qualities that you desire, provided that you are clear on what those qualities are. Because what I find is when I sit down with women and I ask you, okay, what is your dream guy?
Yeah.
Y'all don't actually know what your dream guy is.
We don't. He needs to be handsome. He needs to have a good job. He needs to be tall, dark, and chocolate. I know.
Tall, dark, and chocolate is not going to be the thing that is would be the qualities of someone who will commit if commitment is what you want. You need to actually focus on what matters. You can find, a committal man who is dark,
chocolate.
You can find all that, but be very clear on the things that matter first.
I agree. Thank you, girl, for that. So many young people, I've spoken to struggle to get into a long-term relationship, and a lot of one-night stands also happen. Do you think there's still such a thing as a long-term relationship in today's dating world?
Of course. Of course. Of course. Again, it goes back to being really clear on what you want and finding someone who wants that also. I find that a lot of women sometimes will, you'll meet a man who literally tells you, I don't want a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
But in our minds, we're like, oh, but I could be the one who changes him. So it is possible to find that, but you need to find it with someone who wants that. You need to be also honest in your dating relationships, in your conversations. Ask for what you want. And when it's not what you're getting, you need to be prepared to walk away and find someone who actually wants that.
Are those men worth pursuing, though?
The ones who want long-term relationships? Absolutely. I mean, if that's what you want, you can have that.
Yeah.
And there are men out there who also want that. But I think sometimes we're so fixated on, okay, I found someone and now I'm going to morph him into what I want.
Yeah.
Versus just finding what you want, so you don't need to morph
change
and change
and pedal beat and anything like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
How important is it also, especially with women staying in relationships where it's unhealthy, walking away from something I don't want to say that you deserve better, because if you're in a relationship with somebody and this person makes you happy, but you guys are just not on the same level in terms of moving forward together. How important is it also to meet someone that you can see you guys moving together and building together in the near future?
Yeah. Compatibility is really, really important. And I think people don't emphasize the importance of compatibility. And it's not always the major things. The major things are like, oh, you want kids, he doesn't want kids. It can be the day-to-day and how you live your life. Like, if you have one person who's extremely like, I want to be out partying all the time, and then another one who finds value in maybe they just really want to stay home and read books and watch movies. Not to say that cannot work, but you can make your relationship and day-to-day life a lot easier when you date for compatibility. Date people who you're actually compatible with.
Okay, noted. What are the top 5 questions that people ask you regarding relationships? Top 5, the main ones that you mostly get.
Definitely, where can I meet my dream man? Is my dream man even out there? What if I meet my dream man and I'm not what he wants? That's a big one.
That's a deep one.
It's a deep one. It's a deep one. How do for women in relationships, how can I pursue my self-love? We talked about allowing yourself to express and explore yourself within my relationship. It's a big one, which is not as hard as women think. Sometimes you don't have to leave your relationship to get the love you actually desire.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still within your relationship. Last one, what other questions do I really get? I get a lot of cheating questions as well.
Okay. Like a couple of them? Can you name a couple of cheating questions?
Are there men who don't cheat? Like, is this actually possible?
Can you answer that question?
There are men who don't cheat. Yes. Yeah,
okay.
It's a value thing. Again, compatibility. You have to know how to choose. And cheating is a really big topic. Unfortunately, like, we live in a culture that has normalized it, and I think that's why it's such a big thing. But there are men who don't cheat. Yes.
That's something, to keep me hoping for the near future. I also want to talk about, you are a self-love coach. The importance of, we always, as women, we want guys and men to be ready and emotionally ready to and physically, not physically ready, but just ready to be in a relationship. But how important is it also for us to be ready for a relationship?
It's really important, and this is why my programs start with the internal working. So if a basic thing, like I think a lot of women have a lot of trust issues, basic thing with trust. You want someone who you can trust. But a lot of women don't realize that they actually have trust issues within themselves. Can you trust yourself? You want someone who you can trust. You want someone to trust you, but can you trust yourself?
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that, a lot of the things you desire, it's really important to look at, okay, but do you have that within yourself? Like, you want someone to love you, but do you love yourself?
Yeah.
You want someone to pamper you, but like, do you pamper yourself? You want someone to take care of you, but like, do you take care of yourself? So a lot of these external relationships, searching for love things, they actually really start within, because the way that you treat yourself, that's how you teach other people to treat you.
So a lot of my girlfriends, ask me if they are normal when it comes to their sexual desires in a relationship. Is that a question that you normally get? Am I normal for wanting to do this position with my boyfriend? Am I normal for wanting to have sex with more than one person? Is that something you get a lot?
Again, with the exploring of the, your internal desires, it's been something I've been asked. Are you normal? I mean, what is normal?
What is normal? Yeah.
And I'm very much non-judgmental. I don't think anything is taboo as long as you're not hurting anyone else, and that you communicate with your partner.
Yes, very important.
So yes, but I also encourage women to like try whatever the hell you want to try.
Yes.
Like, explore. This is, you get one life. Why not push your desires and things that you want to do to the limit? I'm very non-judgmental when it comes to sex. I think you should explore every sexual thing you want to do, given that you're not hurting someone, and if you have a partner, that you communicate with your partner.
Pornography. Porn.
Okay.
Does it affect the relationship? Is it good for a relationship? How does that work?
Yeah. With porn, I think again it's a communication thing, because if you like to watch porn, but that's a secret you keep from your partner, then I find that a negative thing. If you like porn, talk to your partner about liking porn. Ask him to watch something with you. I again, communication
It's
and
key.
giving yourself the permission to explore the things that you actually want to do. Because it could be this whole thing in your mind, oh my gosh, porn. And then you try it and you're like, oh, I actually don't really like this. Like, this isn't actually a thing I want to do. Or you try it together and it like blows your mind and it changes you and your partner's relationship. So I'm a fan of like, open yourself up to experiences, as long as you're not hurting anyone and it's openly communicated. Go for it.
Yeah, yes, go for it. Do you think we're becoming more open to talk about these type of things? We did speak about that, it's been a taboo and people don't have these conversations. But we're living in the 21st century now. Do you think that we are becoming more comfortable, especially as women, to talk about sex and to explore more with our sexualities?
I think so. And I love that for women. Like, we have needs and desires.
Yes, girl, we
like
do.
We do. And we should have those desires met, have those needs met. But again, a big part of that, like you said, is communication. You have to say and express to your partner what you desire. But then it requires building that trust with your partner to where you feel safe. Again, choosing the right partner who you feel safe with to come and say, hey babe, I really want to try this like freaky funky thing I saw, in video.
Does that include sex toys? Does the sex toys also? I mean, like I said, 21st century, things have changed. Men sometimes might also like a sex toy in the mix. But is it something healthy for relationships? Can it help just push the relationship to another boundary?
Yes, of course. Again, talk about these things. And if you don't explore and expose yourself to different options, you're not going to know that these things exist. So maybe...
Or whether you like it or not.
Or whether you like it or not. I think toys can be a really good addition to your sex life. It just gives you different sensations. It gives you different options. You get to see, okay, what do I like? What do I not like? So yeah, definitely open up and try different things. It's important.
Single woman and just being out there, not committing to anybody. There's always a double standard to these type of things. If a man sleeps with multiple women, it's okay. But if a woman does it, then, she's labeled what she's labeled.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like if you're a single woman and you don't want to, you're not ready to commit, but you still have needs, you still want to, have that intimacy with someone.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is it wrong for a woman to not commit to one guy and maybe have 3 guys that she's sleeping with?
Mm-hmm. Again, like, what is wrong is dependent on you. And this is why it's so important to have the relationship with yourself to where you can answer that question. How would I feel about myself if I had multiple partners? If I look at my values, is this something that I could do and be okay?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think there's just what you desire. I've definitely been at a point in my life where I was fine with that. But also I got to a point where I would judge myself for that. So if I realize, okay, I'm judging myself for this thing, or I don't feel good about this, then maybe I shouldn't do it. But if you can be okay with yourself, then do it. Again, communication with your partners. You could have 2 partners. They should know about each other.
Yes, yeah.
And then if the transparency and honesty and respect is there, like, totally do that. You could also be single and have your toys if you don't want to have partners. Have your toys. Have things that you try and explore with.
Nelao, thank you so much once again for joining me on this first episode of Tea with Titty T. It was so awesome talking to you, and you really, really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I've been doing wrong in relationships. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I think you started some really good conversations, and I think there's a lot of more areas that we can explore.
We should do this again soon.
Yes.
That was my guest, Nelao, on the first episode of Tea with Titty T. We do this again very soon.